Welcome
Hello.
to QuestionPro Office Hours.
Hi. I was like, let's keep the music going and do a little dancing when we get started.
You guys gotta like jazz up for office
Mhm.
hours. It's pretty exciting. Well, we are so glad you're here, and we're glad whoever's joining us across the world. We are streaming live on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and we are so glad that you've joined us for Question Pro Office Hours. If you didn't know, Question Pro Office Hours is every fourth Monday of the month, and we are here to ask any questions, answer any questions you might have to at least the best of our abilities. I know I just saw some jump in the chat window, so I'm pretty excited about that. But today we're specifically focusing on kind of employee experience, the workforce experience, the happiness of employees experience. And Ford, that's why you're here.
That's right. I'm here to talk about how do you make your company awesome and people say good things about you and want to stay, like things like that. They're important right now in this current day and age where we can't find anybody to hire to fill seats. It's difficult right now. So making your company a wonderful place where people feel alive is really valuable right now. So let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
and we're really grateful that that you're here at Question Pro doing that too. Not only for I know the workforce team. This is like a secret for anybody out there. The workforce team not only is a product, but they also are super great internally, being our like employee
Thank you.
champions. So we're really glad you're here. We'll drop Ford's contact information into the chat windows in case you want to reach out to him. He is our account executive for everything workforce, and so he can answer all of your questions or find the answer.
That's right.
So let us know where you're from in the chat. I'm currently based in Austin, Texas, and it's going to be a balmy 105 today. Ford, where are you based?
I am in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Ooh. You a
Yeah.
Buckeyes fan?
What's that?
Are you a Buckeyes fan?
Uh, I guess I do sportsing a little bit. Not really a sports guy. But I'm like the only person in Ohio that isn't crazy about sports. So I just say yes, go Bucks, go Bearcats.
It's
I like
easier
every
than
team. Yes.
it's easier than causing a controversy. I
I
got
don't
you.
want to start a fight. I just want to get along. I like every team.
And if you are joining us across any of the platforms, do make sure to put your comments and questions in the chat window, and either we'll answer them here or we will answer them in an email and get back to you depending on what kind of question it is. We really want to make sure this is engaging. And so we'll go over kind of our 4 product lines, and then we'll really deep dive into that employee experience like we were talking about. And then if you didn't know, Question Pro has 4 main product lines, starting with survey software that can be free for everyone, our research suite, which is contains communities and instant answers and audience and really advanced question types. The guys, I was about to say the boys, the guys who run this product line are lovely, but they always think they're the best. But all 4 product lines are important because then you get our customer experience with CX and our workforce experience for the employee experience. And we want to make sure that everyone knows that from free to complex, we can support the insight journey across every aspect of your life, frankly, which is like a little creepy and great. I love it. One time when I first started working at Question Pro in like 2019, my dad was flying overseas, and he got a CX, like on a scale of 1 to 10. How did you like this flight? It was from Question Pro, and he like took a photo with my mom's phone of his phone. He was so excited. So, Question Pro really can be in every aspect of your insight journey. And so, if you're curious about these, do reach out to us on our website and somebody will get back to you. Or if you have questions, go to the Help Center because our chat guys are great. Okay. So, Ford, tell me a little bit then about how you got into kind of the Question Pro workforce experience
Okay.
and all of that.
All right. So entering in the workforce, I started working for a lot of startups and technology companies, a lot of weird, interesting ways people are figuring out how to like, be profitable and create interesting companies that are changing the world. And one thing I realized personally is how much I loved working at companies where I enjoyed showing up every day. I know it's kind of novel to think, but I had a few jobs out of college and they were not very fun. They were a lot of hard work and not in the good way. That hard work can
Yeah.
be fun. And, and then I worked with a few companies where I would come home every day and feel more alive, or I'd want to just stay because I'm just enjoying the work. I'm enjoying the people.
Right.
And it personally just impacted me deeply. And the way I work as a person is when I find something that like changes my life, I really am basically want to change everyone else's life too, because I want them to have that. And so I just started figuring out how can I get in, how can I help other people love their work. So got
That's
into doing
awesome.
doing that kind of work in different ways, from consulting to starting a software company to um, working at a workforce, where that's what I get to do every day. It's pretty fun. I get to talk to people who are trying to improve the way, or just make sure that their people are happy and that they're healthy, and um, kind of improve on a daily basis how they're working with their people. So I love
I
it.
love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, as if for anyone who hangs out and watches Office Hours or any of our other live shows like Live with Dan or Work at Life with Sonia, a trend you'll see with a lot of Question Pro employees is that we all like are startup junkies at some point,
Yep.
right? Like we've all like
I'm a glutton
either
for punishment.
yeah, like we've all like started our own business or we've worked in startups or and we come to Question Pro and it's like the best of both worlds, right? We're big enough that we can support enterprise companies, but we still get all the nitty gritty and fun of it, kind of hustling, even though I don't like that word, for just making change. And I think a big part of the surveys and insights experience that people leave out a lot of times is using them to make change in their workplace. And, we focus so much on external insights instead of internal insights. Oh man, we should make a t-shirt out of that. And that
Yes.
is something that I know the workforce team is really excited about. But we are going to talk about also how can we use not only our free product lines for employee engagement, but also the big workforce platform for that employee experience. And so if you were going to actually wait, I'm going to play our little clip first and then we'll dive into the
Oh,
product.
definitely.
Because anyone who's worked in, taken a survey, I think this is going to be the height of just classicness. Sorry, I lost my mouse for a second. Here we go. Okay, everybody, this is the meme when it comes to employee surveys. So we try to debunk this.
Anonymous. This company survey is anonymous. Okay. Please do not forward this link to anyone else. It was specifically made for you.
This isn't anonymous, is it?
This company survey is anonymous.
And I love that at the end she's kind of shaking her head like this company survey is anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Tell
Hilarious.
me how many times what are some of the themes you try to debunk with people when they're like, oh, my employees aren't going to take this, or they're not trusting of us? Like, how do you
Mm.
use different question types or practices to kind of say, yes, this is anonymous?
Yeah. Wait, you mean employees don't 100% trust their employers like all the time, anything they say? People are not that
We trust
trusting.
them like we trust the government. No, I'm kidding.
Um, yeah, I think that's difficult, because I think, you know, every company we all work at, I mean, we're all, wherever we are, we have different levels of understanding the relationship that the employees have with their employer. And I've worked at companies where I love my job. I love working there every day. I'm so excited about it. I'm like drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm like very excited. And some employees at the same company are maybe really stressed and like not doing well psychologically, just because they're really in a place where they're not really doing well at that company. And it's the same company. And I think it's important to know, like, our experience is our experience, and everyone's
Right.
experience is theirs. And I sometimes assume I know what other people are experiencing more than I probably do. And that's just like that's maybe just a good check in general, is like, I don't know. I really don't know a lot of what's going on with people around me. And I shouldn't assume that I do. And maybe it make me more curious and want to listen more and ask more questions. So, get away from this philosophical rant too.
I was like, I mean, that's like a lot of like, okay, like building trust, and I get all that. But at the end of the day, it's still like, but is a survey anonymous?
And so, yeah, I think that's like, I think that's the, getting back to the actual question.
I was like, I'll always bring you back.
So I think that's a huge deal. If you want to get people to be honest, they need to feel safe. And psychological safety has been found to be like one of the most important things to an employee experience. Like, Google has spent like millions and millions and millions of dollars being like, how do we help people? Like, what makes people productive and enjoy their work? And one thing that they found like clearly is, I have to feel safe. To make mistakes, to be honest, whatever it might be. And so, like, being anonymous is a big part of being safe. So it's a really, I think it's one of the most foundational things to getting accurate employee surveying results, is it must be truly anonymous. If you're asking a question that could be difficult, or someone wouldn't say it straight to their manager's face, then maybe it needs to be in an anonymous survey. So make sure you do that. And either by, sending, like in our essentials tool, you can send out a survey to people, and it can be in a QR code. It can be on a link that everybody has the same exact link. And, no one's going to know who sent which response. And that's one way to do it.
And I'm going to show that to you right now.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Essentials all pulled up. I keep losing my mouse because my screens are switched. So I apologize if I take a little long. But as Ford was mentioning, our essentials tool does have some useful, I would say, like level 1 employee engagement tools, right? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, like essentials is what, your 1 to 3?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. And so when someone comes to you and says, "Oh, hey, like I want to start like understanding my employees / I also need to know like what day to do the holiday party." That's like literally all I use essentials for. It's like holiday party, or like who wants, I don't know, funfetti cake versus chocolate cake.
Funfetti. Every time.
There are some obvious, like, easy ways you could do that. You could just create a new survey, and you do that here in your dashboard. I'm signed into my essentials account. And so, you can really do that easily, just like as a form or as a limited engagement tool, and, ask your questions here and then distribute it via the like QR code and other things we were talking about. There's lots of different ways you can do that. But if you were going to get maybe a little deeper, you can also do that with using some of our very cool templates. And as you'll see, we have an employee feedback template section. Cool. And employee MVP nomination. That's pretty fun. And so
I appreciate the nomination. Thank you, Crystal.
Ford Knowlton,
Mhm.
the best Question Pro employee. Good. Just brief, and so
Completely
you
anonymous.
can completely anonymous. You can submit yourself or you can submit others. No, I'm kidding. So you can just click use this template, and all these are found in our Question Pro Essentials platform. And then it just loads straight up into your account, and you can rearrange them. You could rename them, right? Like you don't want to send it out as Question Pro because you might not work here. So you want to
Mhm.
say, company X, or let's say just employee nomination 2022. You can update, you could add your logo here. See, I have the Question Pro, basic logo in there. You could use your own company's logo. That is too big. Please hold. um Make it an appropriate size. And here is, it's all loaded in here. And then if you wanted to add, more questions or another block, you could do that. And we have everything from every question type imaginable. There's like over 400 question types, even with essentials. It's crazy. And variations on them. So, Ford, guess what I got taught my first week at Question Pro?
What?
That multiple choice questions are not good question types.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
They're too misleading to like create definitive insights. And I was like, okay. And at week one, I was like, oh, I thought I knew so much about surveys. And so, really make sure that you look through all the different question types, and you can put date and times in case it was a rolling. And if you're going to use, what kind of people or companies are
Mhm.
best suited for essentials when trying to get an idea of their employee needs? And
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that if you are a company that maybe only has a handful of employees, or if you're just a team of 10, 15 people, Essentials is great. Anytime where you're needing to grab simple feedback on something, it can be really useful. Um, if you have, let's say, 500 employees and you're sending out a survey, that's when things start to get complicated, when you export that data and start to look at the information, or you look at the dashboards. That's when I find that a lot of companies start to say, I think forward we need to look at using Workforce, because Essentials just is. I just spent 5 hours looking at this thing and I can't figure out what it does. And yeah, that's
And because
when
you
it starts to
can
get a.
download all your data out of Essentials, but it doesn't
Mhm.
always it's up to you to really get the insights from it. And it's great at collecting data
Mhm.
and making some very baseline insights for you. But if you really want to take your employee experience to the next level, I don't know if an Excel spreadsheet is the way to do it.
I mean, we all love combing through spreadsheets, and I know we all like it's something we have to learn to say goodbye to. That's why, if you're okay with that, then you might like Workforce.
um, there is definitely a lot of different ways you can also export the data. You can do it as a CSV or an Excel, and there are so many options in here. I literally always get so distracted because I teach myself something new on office hours every
Mhm.
time. What I really love, just from a marketing perspective, is that you can actually upload your company's brand
Hmm.
into here, so that when you exported the charts and into a PowerPoint, it would already be branded,
Hmm.
which I think is a fun fact that not enough people use.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then you don't have to send it to your design department to have them update. It's already done. Um, and there's a lot of just different ways we can do that, and it's pretty exciting. As we are also saying, there was a lot of ways we can distribute, even in essentials. You can do it via email, via a list. You could share it from a QR code. You can share it on social media, and QR codes are making a comeback. We all thought they were gone.
Yep, I should have invested in the QR code companies back in the day.
Oh, isn't that like every,
I thought that was a
entrepreneur's
silly idea. And then,
who would use that? Um, so, really make sure you use all the sharing options. And if you're looking to do some basic, let's say under 500 employees, just to get an idea of what's going on, Essentials, Advanced, or Team Edition could definitely be right for you. And don't forget that we have all of those survey templates available for you right here under New Survey. Oh, no, use a template. I clicked too fast. Whoops. Don't click as fast as I do. Under create a survey, my templates, and that's where you can get templates for all sorts of things.
hmm,
You could also find them on the website. We have over like 1,100 templates, and so there's definitely opportunity for y'all to use Essentials for your employee. I would say like baseline, right? 1 to 3. Ford now is going to talk to us about employee engagement and how that is different than just surveying your employees, which is I'm actually curious about. What's the difference between just like surveying them and then like engaging with them?
yeah, well, I think like you're bringing up like surveying around a cake, what cake to get. I think choosing the right cake is really important to employee happiness when it comes to, but it probably isn't going to keep people happy and staying at your company if they're not enjoying it, right? So
It's because you didn't get them
um,
confetti. That's why.
yeah, and so I think it's worth saying, like, I had worked in the space, the employee experience, employee engagement space for a while, and I one time somebody just showed me like what is the definition of employee engagement, and it really is the relationship that an employee has with the work they're doing, the employees they do it with, and the company that they work for. And those are all different relationships that really affect how somebody feels, like if they're being kind of attracted to the company or they're kind of slowly being um, kind of pulled away from the company.
Hmm.
And we've all have our own personal stories and our own experiences of where both those things have happened. So we can relate.
Right.
The great thing is we've all been employees, so we know we can relate to this.
Right.
There's been a lot of advancements in the way, like, this has become a really important part of running a business. It's just as impactful to the bottom line as marketing and sales and operations. Those things are all like heavily impact the company, and so do the employees and like how they feel
Yeah.
and their experience. So that being said, when so much so that there are, I mean, one of the biggest growing markets in the world right now is basically employee, like, workforce management. So
Ooh.
um, so what I always like to talk when I talk to companies and they're starting to have those conversations inside of their business, or their understanding is like we want to really become excellent at how we manage the relationship our employees have with us, is start to um, start to kind of set some goals, start to figure out what kind of questions you have. And the very beginning of that journey, and really like the key, like one of the most important aspects of that journey is surveying, right? How can you change something if you don't understand what's happening currently? So um, we usually are very involved in the very beginning of that process, and
Hmm.
because people are saying we want to ask some questions and understand what are people experiencing, feeling, what's happening across the company. Um,
Right.
so to learn from your people, gather feedback, simple surveying. But companies, if I don't know how valuable it always is that a company, let's say they have 500 employees and they ask a
Hmm.
question about, um, do you feel that you have the tools that you need to do your job right now? And let's say I sent out that
Ah.
survey question and they said, nope, I don't. And half of those survey responses uh, said yes, and half of them said no. it would be really nice, wouldn't it, to be able to know which half said they're not getting what they need. And with essentials, you really don't have that kind of sophistication to be able to say, I want to learn more and go deeper. So that's where Workforce comes in. So Workforce has been designed from the ground up. It's all focused on what are the things that are important to companies that help them not just gather feedback, but find the most valuable insights about what's going on in their company that are going to be the most impactful to the business, and like make it really simple and easy for them to get that stuff. So they don't have to become a PhD. They don't have to, they could be
And
like
if you need a
me.
PhD, we have 2 PhDs on staff
Yeah.
in Workforce. If anybody needs an extra, we've got a
Yeah.
couple.
You can talk to the PhDs, or you could be like me and be like, have a hard time even like having the attention span to get through a survey sometimes. And it is so easy to be able to find out, wow, this is really valuable. This is something insightful about my company. And I could take this and take action on it. And I know it's going to make a big impact in the business. So I think that I love that. I love when surveys get used to actually make changes in the world that make it better. And that's what like Workforce is great at.
Man, you have like so many good nuggets, right? Not only and you actually like drink the Kool-Aid. You believe this.
Oh man. Big gulp.
I was like, that's what we should that's like a good, X day, like drink the Workforce Kool-Aid, man.
Yeah. Well, I'd say I definitely have drank the employee experience Kool-Aid. I think that employee experience is so important. And, because like I said, it's all about personal experience. I have been like so excited to like do difficult, hard things and go above and beyond my job for some companies. And I've also been like, I cannot wait to go home when it hits 5 o'clock. I'm going home and I'm not going to think about my job. I'm not going to think about my company. And I really, really personally just really enjoy when I love the work I'm doing. I love the people I'm doing it with. And companies can actually make impact what type of company they are. So yeah.
That's amazing. So can you show us a little bit then on how the Workforce platform works?
Yeah, let me show you. All right. Can everyone see my screen? I'm guessing you can. Crystal, can you see this dashboard in front of me?
Yes.
All right. So this is a dashboard. Like I ran a survey, much like Crystal had just shown a moment ago. And this one was just kind of learn about some of the cultural traits of my company. And there's a template for that in Workforce that's much more, sophisticated, much more, much more valuable insights can be generated from this survey template as opposed to maybe the one in Essentials, which is great for kind of just initially learning a little bit about your company.
Right.
So I've had, and you can see here, I have at my company that, I've have 490 employees that I sent out the survey to. And
at made up company number 5.
Made up company. Number 7, yeah, and I got 100% completion rate, which is amazing. That's awesome, and everybody was excited to do that. And I think that we do have a high response rate in our surveys because I think that employees they feel appreciated when you want to listen to them. So if you do a great job communicating your vision and your goals behind doing the surveying, it helps people understand the why. And it's not because you're trying to like understand who's not happy, and they want to know that you value your employees want to know that they're valued and that you care about what they're saying and that you want to make changes based on their feedback and you want to bring them in the conversation. So it does help the communication about why you're running these surveys helps a lot with the response rates and the success of getting those surveys done.
I would call it a little internal marketing.
Yes.
Right? Like that is definitely make sure that you're internally marketing it in a way that builds that trust and that they know that there are going to be actual outcomes.
Yeah.
I think that's what I love about doing our employee survey every year is that I know if I don't fill that survey out, like half day Fridays in the summer might go away, and I can't
Yeah.
have that. Like,
There you go.
but I also know that we've gotten some cool things like paternity leave out of that survey every year. Different things every year. At least there's a couple things that come out from the feedback that we
Mhm.
give, and Question Pro makes changes to that, which is like
Mhm.
an awesome, like almost like cause and reward,
Yeah.
right? Like, you have to be able to showcase something at the end,
Mhm.
and I think that's awesome. And don't forget that when in like there's an old, I don't know if you've ever known an event planner, but there's this old phrase in event planning where it's like you have to invite someone 11 times. You have to give them 11 touches to get them to come to your party.
Hmm.
Like, think of your survey as a party. How many times do you have to engage with your employee or your respondents to make sure they come to the party, which is the survey? So, like,
Hmm.
one time's not going to be enough. Trust me.
I love it.
Okay,
I
so
love it.
now we're like let's keep going. What else is inside this beautiful dashboard?
All right. Yeah. So I've, like Crystal said, we do have automated reminders to fill out the survey. A lot of the work that your HR team spends micromanaging the survey process goes away in Workforce because you basically can set it and forget it with like all these automated reminders and things like that, which is awesome. Um, so once I've gotten these responses to this specific survey, I can take a look here and I can learn. One thing is like, my employee net promoter score. That's important to think about is, that's the level of engagement your people have. A lot of companies measure their employee net promoter score. And that's really just a simple number that is really helps you to kind of think through, how are we doing? Are we improving our net promoter score? Our employees saying, I would encourage my friends and family and people I know to work here. That's
Yeah.
a great that's a great question to ask yourself. And if you aren't measuring that ENPS, you should start doing that. Now, but going deeper, there are things in the company maybe that I want to understand, like where are we doing great and where can we improve
Hmm.
on? And not just like in a very general sense, but very specific areas. So looking over here, you can see I have
That's like I
we've
should just face my
measured
screen bigger.
8. Yeah. If you think here, there's 8 different characteristics about this company that people have kind of talked about. So it's kind of like saying, this is like, maybe I understand like this person. Let's go a little bit deeper to understand this person and who they are and understand the specifics about who they are. That's
Hmm.
how you do it with the company at the company level. So I might want to understand more about this transparency. Like, 68% of the company, that's pretty good, is starting to say they agree with a lot of the statements here. So that's one of the areas where there's a lot of agreement in the company around the positive things. So those are the things that hold a lot of people in the company that an agreement around positive things. Those are good to know,
Right.
especially as you're growing as a company. Those are the things you don't want to lose as you continue to grow. So right here, it says creating clarity. As I go a little bit deeper into transparency, these subcategories are here. And this one's at 76%. So going deeper, I actually can see the questions of what did people say? Like what did people respond to in the survey? So this one
Oh.
says, yeah, so this one says the more we specifically create mechanisms that let more information flow to more people. So there's a lot of just giving information across the organization. People aren't confused a lot here. That's an awesome thing. People appreciate that. Takes work to make sure
Yeah.
people know what's going on, and it takes intentionality, and the employees appreciate that at this company.
I have a
So,
question.
so good job.
I'm raising my
Yeah,
hand.
Kristen. Yeah, Kristen. I can't see your face,
um,
but yes.
is that are these open-ended question responses, or is this something that Workforce generated based on variety of data collected?
These statements here are actually the survey questions people respond to.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. So the way this survey is set up is there's statements, and I'm going to respond to saying I highly agree, all the way down to I completely disagree.
I
And
gotcha.
in a 5-point scale, people can respond to that in this one. This is all, and I'll say like this is something we've designed. It's very flexible. A lot of our customers, they love this survey and they want to make some changes to it. They want to they might want to add some sections for their survey. And
Oh, so these are pre-written ones that you can give to our customers too, that are already like very detailed.
yeah, there's a hand.
Wait,
There
are we
are
guinea pigs for these?
there's several like premium, we'll call them premium templates, just like you saw in Crystal's was showing you in Essentials. There are some more premium survey templates living inside of Workforce that are ready to go right out of the box when you sign up for Workforce. And
Do
this
you
is
test these
really
on QuestionPro employees first? Are we the guinea pigs?
totally. Yeah.
I was like, wait. I was like, you wouldn't write up a whole survey and let those questions go to waste.
Yeah, this is a validated survey too. So it's not something that we just like threw together and then it's in there. It's, you know, like there's a lot of companies using this and it's I love
A
it.
lot of
See,
companies, aka the QuestionPro employees, test it out for you. No, I'm kidding.
yeah,
It's good
and
though.
we even tested on our own people.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do run
we
our
are
own
our own
surveys here.
beta
It's actually really valuable. Like we learn a lot at work on the Workforce team about how to survey employees as we do. We manage a lot of the surveying that goes on inside of QuestionPro, and that's a lot of fun for
Yeah.
us too. And it's helped us improve the way, you know, we work as a company. So
It's
yeah, we
true.
practice what
That
we
just
preach.
cracks me up. We do practice what we preach a lot, and I think that that's important. Not only with our, making sure we have like free survey tools available so anyone can collect insight. It's also making sure that we're building products that I guess we like eat our own dog food, as they say.
Yum.
Yeah. So can you show me a little bit, just as we're like moving through
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
can you show me a little bit of how you set up the making sure it's anonymous, or if you
Sure.
don't want it to be anonymous? Can you walk me through some of the just different, I don't know, setting up tools, and then maybe we can go more into the analysis.
Yeah, let me just say while we're still here,
Yeah.
you know, for the anonymity piece is really important, and so we can set up a lot of different ways to make sure that my identity is protected as I respond to the survey, and we integrate with a lot of HRIS systems. So if you have a tool, you know, that has all your employees in your org chart, information
Mhm.
about each employee, things like around gender or, you know, role or region, things that they're at, that can all be put inside of Workforce, and still while still putting that in there, we can still protect the identity of people, so they can actually respond to surveys. They can get a link sent to their email or to their cell phone, and when they respond to that, our technology will actually protect that person so that they can give us information. No one else in the company is going to be able to access that.
Mm,
But I can still, like, if I'm the leader of the company or I'm a manager, I might really want to understand better. Like, I might be responsible for the, you know, the US region, and I can actually go in here and start filtering that. So I might say I'm in charge of all US, and I want to understand what's going on with the US. That's something you can't do in Essentials and a lot of technologies that are out there, but you can do it in Workforce. Um,
woo!
so I can see, like, you know, ENPS is higher here.
Oh,
I can start diving into what's unique about my group. You can see
right.
here, like, this is an area for me to improve with my US workforce, and I can drill down really quickly and understand what's going on. Our policies are clear and easy to follow. Not so much with this group. And so that would be a really easy way for me as like the head of the US. I could say, well, let's maybe go a little bit deeper, maybe with some pulsing to understand what do they mean by our policies aren't clear, and maybe go get a little bit more granular and learn a little bit more from some conversations even in the company, and find
And
out
by
that.
looking on
Mhm.
this dashboard, you literally have no idea who answered these. This is just culmination data, like,
Nope.
right? You're looking at everything kind of accumulated, that's not, I'm not saying the wrong word, everything together, and are really able to like, your employees can trust that like, hey, they can look at these, but they don't have to know that I picked like the least likely or whatever.
Yeah. There's a lot of control and over like the level of, anonymity, and even to the level, like, let's say I'm a manager and I get some bad feedback and I want to like try to hack the system to like figure out who said that about me. And I start kind of going in here and I click here and I'm like, oh, that person is, they're an intern. And I start clicking on things, trying to get really down to I'm not saying your managers are going to do that, everybody out there. And I mean, but let's just be honest, like there are people that will want to do that and they'll be upset
Yeah.
about knowing the truth. And we can even set up thresholds where if it gets to a certain level where that person's identity could be compromised by doing some of that, you can set a threshold where that can't go any further for that person to be able to find out. So it's very, very important to us that employees feel safe, and we've built the technology so that there can be 100% confidence that they're safe by responding to these surveys.
That's awesome. And I think that that's another thing that we can tell, right, our customers that, but it's also up to the customers to make sure they tell their employees that, like, that this isn't just like a random tool, like free survey tool. I mean, we have a free survey tool, but this is not it that they like picked up off the internet. And so building like, I don't know, go out of your way to make sure that the teams that onboard into Workforce really communicate that to their team?
Yeah, I would say a couple of things to that. One is that definitely communication is a huge deal. Like we keep talking about that. And helping people understand that is important. If you're using Essentials, it's kind of up to you. It's more of a do it yourself. You're on your own. It's an awesome tool that we've provided and a lot of resources to help you use that. When you work with Workforce, we've had a lot of companies, they sign up because they really, really value their employee experience, and they're really trying to like kind of invest into that by getting better technologies, things like that. But after they've been with us for a year, we'll ask them why are you staying with us, and why do you like really like working with us? And they'll say, hands down, one is Workforce is really simple and flexible, so easy for them to use that they're finding themselves getting a lot of value from it without having to spend tons of time and confusion. But they also have this amazing the big thing that I hear them say all the time is the customer success team. They're like a partner on your team helping you do this work. So when you work with Workforce, you have people that are experts in the technology, and we work with a lot of great companies that are also on the same journey. And we figure out where you're at in that crawl, walk, run, stages of becoming excellent at this. And we help you kind of build a roadmap and a program, help you with surveying, help you with that communication, answer questions. So it's really powerful, and it gives you a lot of confidence when you know that you have people that are actually helping you execute and become great at this. And it's not up to just some tutorials or some articles online. So we're really good at that in Workforce. That's probably the number one thing that our customers love, is that we have a dedicated team that makes them amazing by working alongside with them.
That's awesome. And I know those guys do work hard. Jesslyn, shout out. He not only has helped me even program internal surveys too. And so, we do practice what we preach, making sure that we're supporting each other and supporting our customers. Yeah. And so tell me then, like as we get ready to wrap up, like what are your like top 3 recommendations for a company looking to really start building their employee engagement tools? And how can they get started besides like getting a Workforce?
The first thing I'll say, and this is not just me, this is the marketplace, the world of this industry is shifting, and the people who are like the experts and really like changing the way people work today, these are these are the things they're adopting in the way they do it. So the first one is they're not surveying once a year around how do people feel about things or interested.
Ah.
They're not. Do you like check your bank account once a year to see if there's any money in it? And then that's kind of how a lot of companies have approached employee experience is they like, let's go ahead and see how our marketing is performing one time a year. It's not really.
Dude, I get checked in on that like every
Yeah.
quarter, every week.
I want to say Amazon, it changes. They make an experiment. They make a change to their marketing and the way that their e-commerce and everything every 5 seconds. There's an update to how they're doing things. So, I love the idea of employee experience changing every 5 seconds because of feedback and having that much empathy for their employees and understanding what's going on. There's constantly improvements being made, little tiny improvements, but the best way to do that is by regularly sending out surveys in a way. And we help you with that. We help automate that. So it really becomes manageable and easy for your HR teams.
Yeah.
And we also help you find the most invaluable things that you can be learning so that if you do take up your employees' time, it's to learn really valuable things that you can make a huge impact. That makes employees a lot more excited to participate in the employee experience kind of feedback relationship with their employer is one, knowing that you're interested. They don't expect you to be perfect, but trying really makes a big impact. Like knowing that you're trying makes them have a way more sympathy and like tolerance for mistakes. The next thing is taking that feedback, communicating what you've learned to the whole company. So don't just look at it and like keep it all to yourselves, leadership team. If whatever you learn, share it with everyone. Say, hey guys, hey y'all, this is what we've learned. This is what we found out. That helps them believe, it helps them feel confidence that you heard them and then do something with it, so even if it's not perfect, the fact that you're trying and you're taking their feedback and their voice and you're trying to change the way you work as a company with them involved in that conversation, it really makes a huge impact in the way people feel about their employer. So just by surveying your people and doing those things, sharing what you've learned, confirming like, hey, we hear you, like this is what we heard, and then saying this is what we're going to do because we care. If you can just do that, you have already like probably done more than 75% of companies in the world. And you're in the top, you're making your way towards the top echelon of companies that really are making a huge impact in the world. It's very simple. Like ask good questions, listen, understand don't just get feedback, understand it, and then make change. If you can do that, you're really making a huge impact and you'll see results. So,
because if you do just keep asking for if you just keep sending out surveys, people are going to stop trusting you to do anything with it. Right? Like that's how I like. I mean,
when I asked my kid to did they flush the toilet and did they put the seat down and in the bathroom, and they're like yes, and then
they run back,
and then I go and check and it's not done. I'm going to start not believing that they actually did that. So that's the world I live in with my kids right now, is teaching them the basics of being clean. But at work, it's the same thing. If there's like this kind of breakdown, it's gonna but employees want to be heard and they really appreciate it when it happens, and it will really be powerful for your culture just by taking that first step of getting better at asking questions and responding. So
I love that. Thank you so much, Ford, for
my
hanging
pleasure.
out with me during office hours. This is your first live show.
It's been amazing. I'll tell you what.
I feel like I'm constantly just bringing new people in. I'm like, would you like to do this? Would you like to come with me? I got Patrick at X Day. He had no idea what he was signing up for.
I like hanging out. hanging out with people
Yeah.
is a lot of fun. So, and you're a fun person, Crystal. So thank you
Oh,
for having me
thank
over.
you.
Yeah.
Of course. And for everyone watching, thank you for joining us for Question Pro Office Hours. We are here every fourth Monday of the month, and we try to bring a new topic every month, whether it be for our essentials, to our workforce, to customer experience, to research. We are always here for you. And I saw a couple questions come in that I will get back to you through email. Jody, I saw your 5-point question. Don't worry, I'm coming for it. We just didn't get to it today. And anybody who registered ahead of time or submitted a question ahead of time will also be getting back to you via email. Join us here next month, July. I don't know what the theme is yet, but I'm sure it'll be something fun. So thank you so much, Ford, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye.